And if you're starting something with a plan B, it's both a good thing, but also to a large extent detrimental. Because every one of us each one of us, we have a calling. Right. Whether it's, you believe it or not, each one of us at particular periods of our lives, God summons us for a specific escapade in life. The question, the setback you get is supposed to be the feedback that you need to sit down and ask yourself, what does this mean to me right now? Greetings everyone, my name is Eugene Okanda. I am a pastor, a certified executive leadership coach, and I'm a 6-time published author. And today we're going to have such a great conversation on how you're going to get yourself from the ground up into executing on your purpose and executing on your plans and whatever God has put in your heart to do. So looking forward for a great conversation. Cheers.
Back to yet another episode of the Make It Easy podcast. This is episode 6, and in case you're joining us for the first time, my name is Shalom Maeni, and today we're joined by Eugene Okanda. Eugene, how are you?
I'm very well.
How are you feeling today?
Maybe doing well.
You're doing well. You're doing well. That's great. Good to have you on Make It Easy podcast today. But before we get into our conversation, I have just a few icebreaker questions for you. Are you ready?
Icebreakers. Okay, yes.
They are very simple, trust me.
My head will be
They are
open.
Very simple. So number 1, what's a funny memory you have from your childhood?
Funny memory?
Yes.
When we used to see attending bullfightings. Mm-hmm. You know bullfighting? I grew up in the western part of the country. I mean, those are big animals fighting. And it was celebratory. Guys were cheering it up. Yeah. For me, that was quite. And then you have walked almost 20 kilometers, following. You used to have this traditional singing and all that, so that you can get to the destination. Mm-hmm. When the bullfighting is over and the celebration is over, everybody goes and you remain alone, and you have to walk back 20 kilometers.
Back home. Oh, interesting. I think for me, when I was young, I used to think the moon follows me. You see, now when you the earth of course rotates. Yeah. So when you check the moon at night, I used to think the moon follows me, because when I go to this step, naona moon iko juu yangu. When I go back home, the moon is juu yangu. So I even used to tell my friends, but me, I'm special. I used to know I am a very special kid. Like the moon follows me, and there's nothing anyone can tell me.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, until I grew up and I realized everyone says the moon follows them.
I see.
Interesting. What is one random thing you have Googled recently?
One random thing I've Googled recently. Random thing I've Googled recently. I may remember. Random thing I've Googled recently. Oh, you got me there. What? Random thing I Googled recently. Okay. Well, it should be a word. Because I'm a fanatic of vocabularies. It should be a word, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh my God, you got me on that one. Let's pass that one.
For me, it was actually yesterday after City's game. I was checking out where Nico O'Reilly, which country he comes from, and I just wanted to know about him.
Oh,
yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. That's a good search. Oh, that's a good search. If I'll remember, I'll let you.
You'll tell us.
Yeah, I'll tell guys. Yeah.
Number 3, if your friends will describe you, what are the 3 words you think they will go for?
Friends, you're watching this. I hope you bet on me. Resilient, focused, visionary.
Resilient, focused, visionary. I'd say kind for me. Supportive. Funny. Yeah.
You're funny.
I am very funny. You may not have laughed.
Maybe I'm not your friend.
But I promise I am very funny.
You're funny. Funny.
I am funny. I just throw jokes.
Make me funny right now.
It does not work that way. It comes naturally.
No. See, if you're funny, you should be funny.
It comes naturally. But I'm sure.
Okay, let me give you some fun.
Okay.
What do you call a mat that is moving very fast?
What? Matatu.
So you see,
it's matatu.
You see, you're not funny. It's quick mat.
Okay. That one is.
No, you can't imagine.
That one is good. That one is good. No, actually, that one is good. That one is good. I give it to you. You are funny.
Yeah.
Add funny. Add funny.
I add
for the
funny.
three
Okay.
words.
Friends.
You are funny. The fourth one, would you prefer living in the city or in the quiet nature?
Oh, in the quiet nature.
The quiet nature.
The quiet nature.
Same. I think
Yeah.
for me, the hustle and bustle of Nairobi,
Yeah.
I definitely prefer quiet nature.
Yeah.
Last but not least, share a nugget from a book you have read recently.
A nugget I've read recently. I'm rereading the book by Stephen Bartley. The book is titled The Diary of a CEO, 33 Laws of Business and Life. And there's a place he said there that if you want to learn something, you need to teach it publicly, and you have to also fail publicly.
That's law number?
That's law number 2.
Law number 2.
When you talk about mastery.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For me, it will be The Mountain Is You by, I forget the name. But the nugget is, the world does not reward intention, it rewards action. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
one.
we're done with the 5. You see, you did well.
Oh,
You did well. Good job.
let me appreciate myself.
Good job. Now, let's get right into our conversation today. So, our conversation is titled Sustaining Momentum, as you have seen back at home. And you know, this season or the past few episodes, we've been talking about moving from being a planner to someone who is practicing. So how do we have been having different conversations with different people, sharing different nuggets. So today we have Okanda to help us unpack how do you continue moving even when the setbacks hit? What are the kind of mindsets that you need to have, you know, to keep on moving day in, day out. So I want you to start us off with one thing. The question is, what separates people who start and sustain?
What separates people who start and sustain? It is the staying power. The staying power, if nowadays I love going to the gym. And oh, beautiful. Gym is fun the first day.
Yeah.
The second day, if you're doing intentional workout, and it also depends, if you're going to the gym to skip the rope, then just find something else to do.
Skip the rope at home.
Go skip the rope at home, or maybe beside the road.
Yeah. That's fun. No, that's fun.
I'm not going to the gym to lift weights.
Yeah.
And so I used to do. There's a particular workout I used to do, a combination of squats and lifting the weight. So I started with doing 10-10. And I remember almost day 3, I could feel my arms. That was like the day 3 of week 1. And then I kept on going. Today I lift 15. So that is like 30 kgs. And you see, the reason as to why I'm doing 30 kgs is because I had the staying power of doing 20 kgs.
Yeah.
And cumulatively building that momentum. So the thing that separates the people who start and the people who sustain is the staying power. And the staying power is, first of all, asking yourself, what is the magnitude of what you're starting? So what is the magnitude of what because if you do not envision the magnitude, the weight of what you're starting, it will break you along the way. Number 2 is asking yourself, what is the destination? Defining what the destination looks like. Because if you do not define what the destination looks like, any moment will be your destination.
Yeah.
So you also have to be very clear on what will be your destination look like, so that you don't end up copy pasting or meeting with people who look like what you had envisioned and you stop. And then the third thing I'll also say is always flex on your starting module, because how you started is not how you're going to sustain it.
True.
So the rules that help you to start are not the rules that are going to help you sustain the momentum. And that's just so critical as far as the staying power is concerned.
Interesting. So what if as you keep on, putting in the work and continuing, you don't see the progress? Because sometimes you were just talking about it, that we have, what makes us young people to give up easily is because we don't see the outcome of what we are doing, and we don't see the progress immediately. And we were talking about how sometimes impact may take longer, and that's the rule of life.
Yeah.
So what do you do when the progress is not visible week 1, week 2, like in the gym, for example.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your gym story. You've done, 3 weeks and you still are not able to lift
Yes.
more than 15 kg. What do you do?
You keep doing it. You keep pushing. Sorry to say, but you see, we are living, and this is I don't want to get into a lot of politics, but you see, the current generation has been born, especially, let me just say, the better part of the Gen Zs have been born in such a beautiful season of life, a season that I call the season of options.
Right.
If it doesn't work,
Have another option.
I can try something else. And if that something else does not work, man,
Is it a good or bad thing?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So we have been raised up in a season or in a time of options. I mean, if your job if you don't feel your job, you can quit via text message. Unatumia boss unamwambia kesho ni kama nikose kukam. Sikam ni kama sitakam kesho. A season of options. And you see, we have always been told, always have a plan B.
Yeah.
And if you're starting something with a plan B, it's both a good thing, but also to a large extent detrimental. Because what it does is that when you get to the place where you're doing the thing that your plan A is not working, you fall on plan B. But that is the wrong mindset. What actually should happen is this: you have your plan A, you push your plan A to the level, and the things I talked about, the 3 things I talked about, make sure that you calculate the weight, define what the destination looks like. And then always, you see, if you've built trust with what you're trying to do, you can always trust yourself when you're changing the rules.
Yeah.
You can always change the rules. So the first thing is always asking yourself, if I'm going to push this thing to this section and it doesn't look like it's working, you don't switch lanes and you do something else that looks like an easy option. Because your plan B is always the easy option. There's no day a plan B has always been the better option.
Yeah.
It has always been the easy option, a lower version of what you could have actually achieved and possibly do. This is also another thing with the starters and people who do something and sometimes it doesn't look like it's coming. Every time you're starting off a journey, it will always lead you to what I call cognitive dissonance, whereby you're looking at yourself at this period of time and the absolute person you want to become. And it looks like these are 2 different people.
Yeah.
Your current self and the outcome of who you want to become. And it looks like they're 2 different people. That's, you need to be able to leverage that cognitive dissonance to ask yourself, first of all, what are the skills I need to build at this period of time? Because it will always fall back to skill and capacity question. So the first thing is the skill. What skills and expertise do you need to build to make sure that you weather through that season? Number 2 is what capacity, because skill will always give you the capacity that you need. Yeah. What capacity do I need to build so that I can be able to weather through that season? For me, I believe those are the things that actually help us to keep doing the thing that we were meant to do. And this does not say that sometimes we start doing something and it doesn't work. But never in your life fall back on the easy option. Because the easy option will always be easy and it will not take you to the ultimate version that you want to become.
So what happens if you get a setback that makes you sometimes want to go to the easy option? What is that one thing, or what is that one thing that you do to make you go back to the plan A? Because when you get into a setback, truth be told, is you'll feel like, hey, by the pasini majority, you have seen, I have tried, it has not worked, let's go to the easy option. But we are saying sometimes there's a sort of discipline that is required to make you go back to the plan A. So what is that? What is that discipline?
Well, it may not be one thing. First of all, setback is data. Setback is feedback. And every time you get a setback or any form of what we call failure of what you're doing, failure is supposed to be used as feedback. The first thing you do is to call yourself for a rich conversation between yourself and the thing that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is this really what will take me to where I want to go? based on the setback I have received. And then what does that setback means to you at that period of time? If you've just left campus, for example, and you've gotten into business, you've set up your own startup, and possibly it's not picking up. When you meet setback, first of all is to ask yourself, did you have the rigor to keep doing this business? If you get into your first job, but then your first job is not always going to be your ultimate job for the large populace of professionals. Your first job, most of the time, it's the entry job. So if you get into your first job and things don't fall out the way you wanted them to fall into, the setback you get is supposed to be the feedback that you need to sit down and ask yourself, what does this mean to me right now? And having that genuine conversation with yourself. But the other thing I will also say, we need, especially in the season where we're living right now, we're living in the fourth industrial revolution powered by artificial intelligence. And in a season where you can always get it right with the technology and all that, and sometimes it doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. I think if there's a time we need to recalibrate ourselves as humans, is realigning ourselves with the purposes of God concerning our lives. And asking yourself, is this my calling? Because every one of us each one of us, we have a calling. Whether it's, you believe it or not, each one of us at particular periods of our lives, God summons us for a specific escapade in life. A specific escapade in life. Your purpose is eternal. Your purpose does not change. Your purpose is your original essence of living, the reason as to why you are living. So when you meet a setback, it is not a question of purpose. It's a question of alignment with your calling. What is God calling you to do at this period of time? And to a large extent, it does not mean that if you get a setback, it disqualifies your calling. Most of the time, our setback gives us alignment. Because when you fail, it is not for God's sake, it is for your sake. It is most of the time, it's an opportunity for you to ask yourself, do I have all that I need to have to get to where I need to get? Very important. For example, a case example is David. The famous story we love. David is anointed at 17. He was a teenager. And publicly, this guy has been poured oil on.
Everybody has seen it.
Yeah, everybody has seen it. This guy is gonna be a king, and it's everybody's happy. But look at this. The next few days, the guy still goes back to taking care of the sheep. And then an opportunity happens that he gets into the palace. And then it happens that, not coincidentally, but in terms of divine providence, it happens that at that period of time, Goliath resurfaces. And he gets an opportunity to showcase. And he goes and kills Goliath. And possibly in your own imagination, you can think, this is actually the ultimate king. He should be a king next week.
Right next week, right now.
And if you read the scriptures very, very clearly, you'll realize that the biggest battle that David started was actually supposed to face was not even Goliath. It was Saul. He fought Saul for the major part of his life. And he got to be a king at 30. He was anointed at 17. Those are 13 whooping years. So if it didn't work on the second year, and the gentleman say, me, I have mental health, I cannot make it through it. Me, I just feel like I want to commit suicide and go. He could have actually lost an entire destiny. So the thing is that, and the other thing I'll also say, I know I've said quite a number of things there, get a community of people who believed in your first vision, who can continue sort of pushing you to the place where you need to get. If you read the story of David, the Bible talks about the men of David. This guy he used to have this community of people around him who believed in what he was called to do. And that is also very, very important. So looking at what is God's calling for your life at this period of time, leveraging failure as feedback, building a community of people who understand your vision and that can also help you to navigate through that season is something that will help you to navigate through any form of feeling like you want to give up.
That's very good. And when you think about your journey as Eugene Okanda, what is that one thing that has made you stay consistent despite, the setbacks, despite things that come. What is that one thing?
Beautiful. Whoa, I don't know where to start. Do we have time? Okay. Just quickly. Oh my God. I was born out of the wedlock. I met my biological father when I was 21 years old. I battled suicide myself. I almost committed suicide when I was in my primary school, because at that period of time things were so thick at home. And to just cut the long story short, I was a serial failure. I've actually written a book about this. The book
The pressure of being built.
The pressure of being gifted. This book, The Pressure of Being Gifted. My whole story is here. So we don't have much time to talk about this story. You can
get the book.
You can get the book to read. But just to go through it quickly, I was a serial failure, and by God's grace, I was able to. One of the person that has been so instrumental to helping me keep going is actually my mother, because she saw what I could not see in me. Because to a large extent, I've been raised up by my mom, and of course I met my dad when I was 21 years old. I battled childhood trauma like something else. In fact, I had to go through quite a number of two men program that enabled me to heal from my childhood trauma. One of the programs I did when I was in campus. I did my undergraduate in KU, so I did a 10-day program that just helped me to find healing, especially of the baggage that I'd carried. And then later on, I did a program that is called Man Enough. It's a 12-week program for men, and it really enabled me to get a grip of what God had called me to do. And looking at through that period of time, one of the things that kept me going is the fact that my tomorrow will be better than today when I was a child. And then, of course, coming into the corporate space, I finished campus, started doing a lot of leadership engagements. I got an opportunity to work for the government, the Ministry of Youth Affairs. And then I also, during that period of time, I was doing a leadership program by Hesabika, got trained by Kenya School of Government, Judiciary Training Institute. And then later on, I also got an opportunity now to be able to work with different groups of people. I was running my organization that period of time, and I knew for sure I'm going to get into the corporate governance, and I was preparing myself into that space. But little did I know that God had other plans, and of course, the thing we talked about calling, He was just able to call me and bring me into alignment during that period of time. And then at some point in 2024, I got an opportunity to be selected as the Kenya United Nations Youth Representative. So that changed my entire life, all of it. So I got an opportunity now to travel a bit around the world. Now that means is that you become a diplomat, like a real-time diplomat. Yeah. We got to travel. We went to Tanzania for a mandate there. We did some work with the young people of Tanzania, and then we went to South Sudan, where we did also some work there. And then we were flown to New York during the UN General Assembly. And during that period of time, you get to sit in a space where you see hundreds upon hundreds of the heads of states and men and women who make policy decisions for governments, and interacted with quite a number of people, got opportunities to speak in a number of forums, the sidelines of the UN. Came back, went to Ethiopia with our team, and we had an amazing time. For the first time, I was doing a public speaking masterclass at the University of the Addis Ababa University, and we had an amazing time there. Came back, and I thought, whoa, finally, my journey into international relations, diplomacy is kicking, because my career trajectory was up here.
Yeah.
I was feeling like, wow, now sisi na ndege. Nilikuwa hata nimeanza kuita ndege my Uber. My Uber is here.
We saw.
My Uber is here. Kenya Airways, the Uber is here. Oh my God. And then 2025 comes, and it was clear God was calling me into ministry. And it felt like I was coming from here to here. And I thought, no, come on for a moment. And of course, to cut the long story short, I get into ministry, and what I was thinking was a download, or sort of coming down into the lower version of myself, was actually a divine experience.
Yeah.
Got into ministry, got an opportunity to meet and serve amazing groups of people. Interacted with people of different divide, and I can proudly say that I am a pastor. Because I have had an opportunity to serve the people of God in various capacities. And I'm so looking forward to see how this journey is going to look like, serving with CTAM, Christ is the Answer Ministries, and also gotten opportunities just to work with people in between their lives as a shepherd, and also teaching, training, and speaking God's word into the lives of people. And that for me has been an amazing journey. Of course, in the middle of all that, I was also running my own leadership school, Okanda Leadership Academy, where we were just working with people, sort of just creating a space for people to learn about leadership, to learn about how they build their capacity. And of course, during that period of time, I'd also got an opportunity to do a leadership training at Strathmore Business School that gave me an opportunity to know how do I help people become better. Now, if you look at that kind of leadership journey, I've just given snippets, sort of trailers of how life has been. One of the things that has stood out is my relationship with Jesus Christ. Because in different seasons of my life, he has called me to do specific assignments. And these specific assignments, they have continued to pour out into my larger purpose. My purpose as Okanda is just to empower the human capital for institutional transformation. Whether I'm standing on a pulpit to preach, I want that person to be the best version of themselves, to serve the purposes of God in their workplace, and become God's ambassador, that one day they're going to meet with Christ and they're going to give an account of how they lived their lives. So for me, that is my overarching vision. But one of the things that has remained constant is my relationship with Jesus, because he has continued to guide, to lead, to instruct, and to give specific instruction. Even right now, serving as a pastor, it was his divine calling over my life. When I went to do my master's in theology, I didn't know how things are going to span out. But God provided exceedingly when I was a student at Africa International University. And he provided to the extent, unafikanga mahali unasema, God, I'm at the end of the rope. You see his hand coming to provide. Because doing a master's in this country is not cheap. But God provided through people who came along that journey and just supporting me through that work. And that for me has been a divine experience. Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful journey. And if probably, even as we wind up, there's probably someone at home who's watching us and they're like, hey, by the way, I kind of relate, but I don't know. What's that one advice that you can give someone who is trying to figure their journey out, who is probably trying to get back from a setback and now get back on track? What is that one advice?
I will quote a gentleman called Dave Brailsford. He was picked to be the performance director of Team Sky, which is the British cyclist team. And this guy was brought in to be the general manager and the performance coach for this team that had been wallowing in failure for 110 years. The last time they had won, they had won a single trophy during the Tour de France. Tour de France is one of the biggest cyclist games that are actually known in the world. They'd won in 1908. This guy was brought in and he had to change the trajectory. And he propagated a principle that is called the aggregation of marginal gains. If you've read a book by James Clear, Atomic Habits, you've possibly met with that story. And aggregation of marginal gains says this. This is what actually Dave Brailsford said. If you break everything that goes into cycling and you look for 1% improvement on each of those elements, for him, he broke down the nutrition of the cyclist, the sleeping pattern. They even painted the inside of the truck white so that whenever time they're carrying the bikes, they can notice any dint of dust that can affect the efficacy of the bikes. He looked at the pillows that give the cyclist the best sleep, and they carried the pillows to the hotels where they used to spend. And he looked for all these things that goes into winning a gold medal, and broke it down and looked for 1% improvement. And it is to actually say, in a span of 10 years, this guy had won over 170 champions, over 170, more than 60 Olympics and Paralympic champions, and all. He had set a world record. Now, what I can say to someone who is watching this episode, I want you to think about your life and don't look at it wholesomely. I want you to compartmentalize your life into segments.
Yeah.
So I remember there's a material I did. It's actually titled Personal Vision Book, where I was able to look at. I started with my own life, and I'm not telling you things that are far-fetched. These are things I've done myself. I looked at myself and I broke my life into 10 pillars. So career, look at your career, look at your finances, look at your social capital, look at your spiritual capacity, look at your social networks, your emotional, your mental, your community, in terms of your community impact. So like this book has those 10 pillars. So these 10 pillars, let me just get into that. These 10 pillars looked at career, finances, spiritual, personal, emotional, physical, family and relationships, social capital, networking, hobbies, talents and recreation, and community contribution. I want you to list those 10 things down and then evaluate yourself how you're doing on each of those elements out of 10. And then try to ask yourself, how can I look for 1% improvement in terms of my career? How can I get just 1% improvement between between the time you are watching this video to at least 12 months later on? And then start working yourself up and then develop a system, because this book has like a weekly review, and you can actually get this material as well. It has like a weekly review. Now, a weekly review is safer because it does not lead you to lethargy. Most of the time when you're trying to push yourself and trying to do reviews every day, you can get to lethargy. But if you give yourself a period of 7 days and then on the 7th day, you're able to do the reviews and all that, it gives you that capacity. And then after you've done these weekly reviews, always ask yourself, where are the gaps, where are the misses, and where do I need to build my capacity as far as that is concerned? Because when you go back to what Dave Brailsford said in the aggregation of marginal gain, if you look for 1% improvement every day, after a period of 1 year, that's like 365 days, you'll have experienced 37% improvement after 1 year. If you consistently look for that 1% improvement every day. So if it is going to the gym, don't start going to the gym for 1 hour. Go to the gym for 15 minutes. Do a rep there, because the thing is you want to be a person who keeps their word. Yeah. And then if it is about building social network, don't go to a social network, print, you've printed 1,000, you're looking for a business. No, just go to a networking event, sit in, look at how people operate and all that. It starts with that one step, 1% improvement. At the end of 365 days, each of those 10 pillars will have experienced 37% improvement. That is massive. So don't try to look for a one-time experience. Look for small improvements compounded over time. It will give you the major outcome that you need. If you're going to sustain momentum, look for 1% improvement. That is the only thing that will set you apart. Because the difference between extraordinary people and ordinary people is just the extra. The extra amount of time, the extra amount of energy you put in, and the extra amount of thinking that goes into it. Yeah.
1% improvement. That's very good. And we have come to the end of our conversation. Thank you very much, Okanda, for pouring your heart out, for sharing with us nuggets of wisdom. Please make sure you share with us on the comment section what is your critical takeaway, what have you learned, what is that 1% that you're going to actualize in the next coming days, weeks, months. And that was our time for today. Ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely afternoon, have a lovely morning, have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.